So I did a video a few months ago, roughly, I don't know, called "I'm Not an Alcoholic," and I was referencing a scenario in there with a guy who had come through the house, was struggling in a lot of areas, and I'm talking about just the basics: honesty, integrity, you know, doing anything program related. When I say program, I'm talking about the 12-step program and my program, the Simplify Recovery program. He would just nod and say okay, and then not do anything. Failing drug tests, just kicking and screaming and fighting every inch along the path to recovery, the way the 12-step program and I draft out and map out the path, right? So it was his way. Ultimately, there were just too many manipulations. There was a scenario where I just asked him to leave, and it really wasn't on a drug or alcohol relapse. He just lied about some stuff and just got caught and was not paying the rent and going out and buying other things. It's just a disaster, and I'd had enough, you know. And when I've got other people that are willing to do the deal, you know, I'm going to replace them with somebody like that. I didn't even have somebody ready to go on this guy. I just asked him to leave. So, you know, again, a few months ago, not surprisingly, just got a call, I don't know, last week from same guy. Desperate, got another DUI. The one thing about this kid is, like, he had a pretty good work ethic, so he had a job. But everything from there, oh my gosh, intentions are good, just like, you know, so many of the rest of us that are out there active in our disease and our addiction. His intentions were good, but man, this guy's just a tornado. You know, he'd come in and just destroy anything and everything, anyone and everything around him, including his own life. And he continued that course until, you know, I got a call. And I think it may have been like 3, 4, 5, 6 months since I've removed him from the house. Calls me up, he's broke, he's desperate, lost his job, got another DUI. He already has a parole officer, already has several felonies. This is his third. I mean, this guy's in deep shit. And calls me up, he's scared, he's desperate, he's asking if I can help him with a bed and get him a place to live, if I can help him get a job. He's willing to take anything. And could I do both? When he called me, I have 3 beds available. It's very rare that I have that scenario, but I absolutely had availability. And I always like to run a consensus through, or, you know, try to get a consensus from the guys in the house. Like, what do you think? Especially if it's something we call a retread, somebody who's been out there, relapsed, and they want to come back in. And what we do is we evaluate who they were and what they did prior to the relapse. There's a lot of indicators prior to a relapse that are becoming a pattern. There's a lot of consistencies: not paying the bills, integrity issues, manipulations, you know, not going to their meetings, not calling them, not doing anything that I ask or that the program asks. You know, when I say I ask, my program implements certain things that are mandatory from the 12-step program, like, you know, certain amount of meetings per week, working with a sponsor, seeking sponsees, going through the steps, having a home group, having a servers commitment, all those things. And a lot of these guys, they just don't do it. And we hold them accountable. We try to weekly in the house, and you can just see the guys that are doing it and the guys that aren't. The guys that aren't usually end up relapsing, going out there. Oftentimes, we don't know where they go. You know, if they live, if they die, if they go to prison, if they, you know, they just disappear. And I wish them the best. But, you know, so we happen to have 2 guys actually recently. One had relapsed, and gosh, it's hard to keep track. I'll stay focused on the guy I'm talking about. Ultimately, we decided to not let him back in the house. I referred him to a couple of other guys that have sober livings, let them know the scenario and see if they could help him. But in that moment that he called me, there was a bed available and there was a job available. And ultimately, we gave his bed to somebody else who showed more willingness. And I think the lesson there is, you know, and again, he's not the only one that's had issues with this, where they're desperate, they're scared, they're looking for help. And I sit down and I say, well, let's look at what you've done. Let's take a, you know, let's look at what decision I should make. Put yourself in my shoes for a minute. I have to make a decision that involves a lot of other people, and I need to make the right choice for the aggregate, for the group, not just for you. And so when I see an individual who is in that scenario, I mean, what it comes down to is, and I guess this is the point of the whole video, integrity. It means so much. It is such a better way of life. And that integrity just means, what you do when nobody's looking, of course, your character, you could say as well. But at the, with this guy, I just, nobody in the house felt comfortable bringing him back in. It was just too much stress for them, too much trouble, more than we need. We already had other guys that were showed a little more willingness, that were trying to help on their rebound and their second chance after a slip up. And so, I just told him, I said, hey, try conducting your life this time with more integrity. And that could even just mean owning that you are sick, that there's something wrong. If your decisions are consistently destroying your life and hurting people around you and hurting yourself, for once, be humble enough to pay attention to some of the suggestions around you being made through a program that's documented to help others and work and people who have what you want. It's all available to you. So I hope he catches on, and I hope that this message can resonate with somebody who, if you can catch it early, you don't have to go out and destroy your life, man. This is such a simple concept. The concept is have a spiritual awakening. And if you're walking in line with Source, with God, with, true spiritual consistency, your actions won't destroy you. They will benefit you. They will edify your life. They will make things better. And 6 months from now, you will look at your life and go, holy cow, things are better. Instead of calling me or somebody like me going, can you help me again? Man, integrity, I'm telling you. And that's just, even from a business standpoint, when I look at, the success I've had in business, which is relative, I'm not a millionaire, I'm not broke, I'm somewhere in the middle. But I've had a successful career for 11 years since I've been sober, in corporate IT sales. And you know what? Number one is communication. As far as, I went to a training, and this is a theory on what success is in my profession. Number one was communication, my ability to communicate. Number two was integrity. And then number three was intelligence, actually knowing my product and my field. And so, isn't that amazing? I don't have to be the smartest guy in the world to go out and be successful, but I do have to conduct myself with integrity, and I have to communicate well. Same thing in life, same thing in the sober living environment. Hope you guys catch on sooner than later, because the consequences can be devastating on the other side. And you know what? The flip side of the consequences of integrity are very, very good. It's an amazing life, and it's fun, and it's worth it. All right, thanks.